Good morning, dear students. Today we shall learn about Mesopotamian civilization. Mesopotamia is a historical region of Western Asia situated within the Tigris-Euphrates river system in a northern part of the Fertile Crescent. In modern days, roughly corresponding to most of Iraq, Kuwait, the eastern parts of Syria, southeastern Turkey and regions along the Turkish-Syrian and Iran-Iraq borders. So in the Greek language, Meso means in between and Potamos means river. The Euphrates and Tigris flow here and drain into the Persian Gulf. Since this area is in between two rivers, it is known as Mesopotamia. So let's see about the Sumerians. The oldest civilization in Mesopotamia belonged to the Sumerians. So they were the contemporaries of Indus and Egyptian civilization. The Sumerians settled in the lower Tigris valley around 5000 to 4000 BC. So they founded many cities and Nippur was one of the important cities. They developed the cuneiform writing system. So during the early phase of the Sumerian civilization, kings acted as the chief priests. So let's learn about Akkadians. The Akkadians dominated Sumeria. In the cuneiform records of Akkadians, mention is made about the Indus civilization. The documents of the Sargam of Akkad refers to the ship from Mehuha. The Sargam of Akkad was a famous ruler. The Sargam was his descendants ruled Mesopotamia for more than 100 years. So let's learn about these people. The city of Akkad, actually they say that it became the city of Babylon, a commercial and cultural center of West Asia. So Babylon, the Semitic people called Amorites from the Arabian desert moved into Mesopotamia. They were known as the Babylonians as they established a kingdom and made Babylon its capital. So during that time we find a famous ruler was there. His name was Hammurabi. So he extended the dominion to the western part of Mesopotamia. The powerful states of Ur and Babylon controlled this region. Hammurabi, the sixth king of Babylon, belonging to the first Amorite dynasty, attained fame as a great lawmaker. Now let's learn about the Assyrians. So these people, they were politically, this empire was very active in Mesopotamia around 1000 BC. The Assyrian government was controlled by the emperor, and provincial governors were appointed by the emperor to administer provinces. So Ashurbanipal was a popular ruler of the late or new Assyrian empire. He maintained a famous library of cuneiform records. So let's learn about the society, state and administration. A typical Sumerian society was surrounded by cultivable land. The temple was controlled by the priests. The priests, scribes and nobles were part of the government. The rulers and priests occupied the top of the social hierarchy. The scribes, merchants and artisans were placed next in the hierarchy. The scribes maintained the account of the tax and the priests collected the taxes. The temples acted as storehouses of the taxed commodities. So assemblies were created for the administration of the state, and many cultivable lands were owned by the kings and higher classes of people in the hierarchy. So the peasants who remained to the temple in the early phase of Mesopotamian civilization became free from association in the later period. So let's see the type of food and agriculture, what they underwent. The agriculture was a main occupation of the Mesopotamians. They had developed irrigation system for ensuring the availability of water for agriculture and cultivated wheat, barley, onions, turnips, grapes, apples and dates. So fish was also the part of their diet. Let's see about the trade relation which they had and what were the exchanges they had with other countries. So traders assisted in the exchange of goods procured from the potters and artisans. They traded with Syria and Asia Minor in the west, and in Iran and Indus Valley civilization in the east. They traveled in ship across the seas for trade. Their temples acted as banks and lent credit on their own account. Let's learn about the cities and town planning. How about the town planning? The ziggurat were the city center on a platform and appeared like steep pyramids with staircases leading to the top. Around this temple were complexes of ceremonial courtyards, shrines, burial chambers for the priests and priestesses, ceremonial banquet halls, along with workshops, granaries, storehouses, and administrative buildings. So let's learn about the religion of Mesopotamian civilization. So what type of worship they had, the number of gods, whom they worshipped. Let's see. They worshipped several gods and goddesses. The Sumerians prayed to Enlil, the god of sky and wind. The city of Nippur was center of Enlil's worship. Enlil was the Sumerian goddess of grain. The Babylonians worshipped Marduk, and Ashur was the supreme god of the Assyrians. Ishtar was goddess of love and fertility. Tiamat, the god of the sea and cause and sin, the moon god. The kings were seen as representatives of the gods on earth. So we find the most famous of these epic is Gilgamesh, which is written in the cuneiform text. It contains a legend of the flood and has similarities with the account of Noah's Ark mentioned in the Bible and other myths in the Hindu Puranas. So let's learn about Hammurabi's Law Code. So Hammurabi's Law Code is an important legal document that specifies the laws related to various crimes. It has 282 provisions, specify cases related to family rights, trade, slavery, taxes and wages. So Hammurabi, his code, it was a compilation of old laws based on retributive principles. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth form of justice is used in the Hammurabi Code. So let's see the cuneiform Sumerian writing system. So the shape of the letter is in the form of wedge, and hence it is called cuneiform. It is one of the earliest scripts of the world. They used the script for commercial transaction and writing letters and stories. The clay tablets contain loads of information on the Sumerian civilization. So let's see about the art. The few paintings and sculpture from the Mesopotamian times have survived today. Mesopotamian sculpture portray animals such as goats, ram, bulls and lions. So massive sculptures were created at the time of the Assyrians and Babylonian Empire. So let's some of the scripts you can see in your textbooks. It's been given, and here you can see some of the clay tablets and also the script, all that. So some symbols alone, we don't understand all these. It doesn't look like any language, just a script. Some signs are there given. So let's see about the science. So the Mesopotamians, they were very good in science. Let's see. Maths, astronomy and medicine. They developed the concepts of multiplication, division and cubic equation. The numeric system based on 60 was conceived by them. They were the one to formulate the 60-minute hour, the 24-hour and 360-degree circle. They created the water clock and the lunar calendar based on the movement of the moon. They developed methods for measuring areas and solids. They also developed advanced weight and measurement systems. The ideas influenced Greek astronomy. They had developed a medicinal system as well. A text called the Diagnostic Handbook, dated to the 11th century BC. Babylon lists the symptoms and prognosis. This indicates a scientific understanding of herbs and minerals. So let's see some of the contributions of the Mesopotamian civilization. So they developed the calendar system of 360 days and divided a circle into 360 units. The invention of the potter's wheel is credited to the Sumerians. The cuneiform system of writing was their contribution. And then finally, the Hammurabi's law code was another legacy of the Mesopotamians. So students, in today's lesson, you have learnt about the Mesopotamian civilization. So in the upcoming lesson, you will be learning about Chinese civilization. So that's all today. Thank you.